That's going.
Dudley.
This meeting and the mayor of the Board of Aldermen for the city of Cleveland is now in session. If you have any business before this board, please come forward and you'll be heard.
Okay, come on in, Robert. And Reverend, if you'll get us started.
All right. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for every blessing. We thank you, Lord, for your blessings upon our city. Lord, we ask you to bless these men and women that are taking care of the business of the city with wisdom and direction. We pray for continued peace and blessing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, we got Mark Levy here tonight.
Hey, Robert.
I know we're all excited about hearing about this master plan, so we'll just.
Okay, I'd like to see you right here.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you for being here.
I just wanted to say, Mayor and board members, thank you all for having me. I'm a practicing landscape architect based in Mississippi, and among other things, specialize in municipal projects. Let me start by saying it's quite an honor to be here in Cleveland tonight, working in such a wonderful city. There's several people I'd like to thank before getting started. I'm grateful to Murtis Tab, Betsy Abraham, and Marion Davis, who are behind me, Beautification Commission, for partnering together on this important project.
Right.
Ewing McPherson provided the survey, the imagery that you see on this board and on these boards. And of course, Michelle Arbuckle has been helpful. And again, members of the board, thank you all again for having me. So we all know that Cleveland is not only the best small town in Mississippi Delta, but it's one of the best small towns in the state of Mississippi. And that starts with the historic downtown. When MERS Tab reached out to me to look at the historic downtown, I was initially surprised because I've been in Cleveland on many occasions and always been impressed with the downtown. It occurred to me that one of the reasons Cleveland is such a vibrant place is because of the loyal support of community members like this board and the Beautification Commission. We're constantly looking for ways to make this downtown even better. I just want to reiterate from the onset, you'll hear me say throughout this presentation, that the heartbeat of any downtown, of any town, is the downtown district, and Cleveland is no different. And the ideas you are here today are only to enhance the work of the current downtown that have been done for several years to make it what it is today. In fact, the master plan, as you will see, is a continuance of the improvements to enhance the historic context and aesthetic that have been ongoing for years. If I may, I'll give a brief background how we got to this project, and then we can look at a few highlights and look at the design. At our first meeting with the Beautification Commission, we discussed some of the pressing needs of the downtown area. We discussed things in more specific terms, like, what do you think about the pavilion, the position of the pavilion? And we looked at the flower beds and some of the garden, the planting areas, and we looked at the oak tree. And we walked the entire downtown and we looked closely at those features. And my recommendation was to take a step back and to look at the whole downtown from a 10,000-foot view, a bird's eye view with fresh eyes, in order to be able to set priorities and a clear vision for the next 20, 30, or 40, or even 50 years, the plan that will outlast all members of this board and me. We discussed and decided to develop a master plan for the historic downtown area from Sunflower Avenue south all the way to Shelby Street and the Railroad Museum. By definition, the master plan is a comprehensive plan that sets strategic goals and that establish various components of the project, but not all the details. And you'll notice this if you look closely. The master plan is intentionally designed to be interactive and adaptive. Many of the program elements we discussed will change based on the input from the board. And nobody understands this downtown like the mayor and the board. So you may have seen some of these program elements introduced that have been tried and haven't been successful in the past. History and context matter, and which is why this plan will need a thorough community input. The way I approach this project is to break down the downtown into 4 distinct areas that I've called districts. The 4 districts are the North Highway 8 district, the Central District, City Hall, North Street, and then the Depot District. Each one of these areas are highlighted within the master plan. You can see that on this map right here. We have the North Sunflower Central, North Street, and then the Depot District.
Third page.
Each one of these areas is highlighted. Keep in mind that what I'm calling a district is different from your historic district, planning district. You already have the cross-tie historic district, which is a different thing. These are just areas that have distinct character in the downtown. Within each of these districts, I utilize 4 simple design principles that I'd like to introduce as a part of this master plan. The 4 ideas are create a pedestrian-friendly pathway for the retail, sales, dining, and services. Create destinations, strengthen the wayfinding and signage, and then program the site for all ages and abilities. First, I'll just go through those real briefly. Pedestrian-friendly. What makes Cleveland downtown area special is how walkable it is. The plan enhances the walkability by creating more safe pedestrian and accessible crossings. You can see here on the plan, we've added some crosswalks and islands. We have a proposed crosswalk. Or the ones that aren't obviously, anytime you see a 2 or a 3, see we added crosswalks in the kind of house. We already have also some crosswalks right out here. City Hall, the municipal building, and some down. Added. The islands accomplish 2 things. First, and most importantly, they slow the cars down. It's really important that pedestrians have the right of way. That's what they do best, to slow the cars down. They shorten the distance between the pedestrians. They shorten the amount of time the pedestrians are in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And less time in the street, safer. So Cleveland's known for historic or for its retail shopping. A healthy retail fundamental to sales tax, reinvestment in the downtown. The railroad park is primarily a leisure recreation exercise component because it's vertical, mostly vertical. And I saw people going up and down. We were waiting tonight to get in. It is sometimes harder for pedestrians to cross side to side in certain areas. Now, there are some crosswalks and they seem to be used very well. But what's interesting is I think the lack of the horizontal crossings were intentional by design, but this was obviously a railroad and the railroad company didn't want
Right.
a few crossings possible. Those have been added over the years, but I think you can push that a little bit further. So that's the first thing. Second design concept would be create the destination. So I hinted at before, but the green space is a great place to exercise. It's extremely important. Exercise obviously is extremely important, but I think in order to continue to afford the improvements, the downtown area has to continue to develop new and different destinations. So the Beautification Commission asked a lot of questions about the pavilion. The existing pavilion is located in what I'm calling the Central District that you see here. And I call it Central because it's in the middle. And it seems to be the most populous area downtown during most days. And so I'm not sure when the current pavilion was constructed.
It's rotten, so it must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, I figured somebody here knew, but what I do know is that it was constructed well before the Cotton House was built. The current pavilion, by my estimate, is around 700 square feet. It's in decent shape for this age. On the master plan in front of you, I propose a new larger pavilion. The pavilion is on the plan is between 2,500 and 3,000 square feet, which to me is more in scale with the surrounding buildings, especially the Cotton House. Again, when the pavilion was built, it's fairly small for the street. There's some other ideas that I came up with, like adding some sidewalks. I added kind of more of a sidewalk on the east side of the central area. Right now, again, it's just a single path, which I think as you get away from the center, works pretty well. You can see this area here. This is the same asphalt path you had. And then this is all asphalt. But in this central part, I have pathways on both sides and with a strong connection point in the middle. So we'll get in a few more. They also added a playground, which I'll talk just real briefly about. The third design component is strengthening the wayfinding and signage. You'll see this in the form of a large monument plan facing Highway 8. This right here. It's 12 up here.
Yeah,
This would be some signage that would be tall letters.
yeah.
I've got an idea of the concept. And again, this is kind of something I did pretty quickly, but you can see part.
Yeah.
Something that'll really grab your attention from the corner, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's kind of blah. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
This is same one. I copied this from another town, but I liked it. I didn't feel like I need to recreate it or something like that. As a visitor, the first time I came to Cleveland was early 2000s. I drove right past downtown without stopping. You can see it. I think obviously if you live here, you know where downtown is, but visitors, the signage with visitors. I do think if you do something like that, it's kind of like a piece of art, that it would benefit everyone. And I also think that it might be nice to have a large pedestrian sign inside in the green space that showed all the location of all the retail stores, how far a walk it is, and that sort of thing that kind of tells walking distance along that path. Because again, trying to work with pedestrians there. All right, I missed a few things. I'm jumping back to the I want to jump back to the pavilion. So on the current pavilion, it only has one opening, faces east. It's not ADA accessible, it has a step. So you can't access it with a wheelchair. So that's why I think it'd be better to be open on both sides, like I've shown here. I've got a big, like it's about a 20-foot walkway. It's right from the front of the Cotton House. There's a lot of visitors coming through. It's right all the way across. The other side of the street, so that really becomes a central part of like I said, now that pavilion is completely closed off of this whole side. All right. So the last design component is the program of site for all ages and abilities. Like I mentioned before, we would like to add some pavilion and additional crosswalks planners. In addition, to create more options besides exercising, I added a playground to the space. That's on the south side of the park here. It already has available parking. It's right across the street where we are now. This is here at 4 right here. And one thing you'll notice about that space is it's already completely canopied with trees. So you won't get grass to grow under there anyway. So you got to do something. I think if you added potentially a fence and had a safe place for the children could play. I don't know. Most kids I know don't like to shop that much. It's certainly not as much as their parents. So it might be good for everybody involved. So that's kind of that's one idea, but try to program space for more than just adults that are there to shop or visitors. Part of the exercise. So these are the 4 components, and I just discussed a few of them. There are a bunch more that I won't go into great detail on unless you ask me to. But I would ask for your honest review of the work and ask for your ideas and your thoughts and opinions. Like I said, this plan is designed to be flexible to meet the needs of this community, and nobody knows that better than y'all. So in closing, I had a question you might be asking, because Michelle already asked me. And this is what I would be asking. This looks great, but how much does it cost? And how do we pay for it? Which are good questions. Total package as designed, including pavilion, playground, new sidewalks, landscaping, all in would probably be at least $2 million, which, I know there's some sticker shock there, but just remember, it's not designed to be done all at once. This plan is not a biddable construction document. The master plan is designed to cast the vision. It allows you to break down a large project into several smaller projects based on your priorities, on the priorities of this board. And maybe you decide to implement one crosswalk at a time, or as you can afford it, as the funding becomes available. Some of these projects can be done in-house. Others will have to have an outside contractor, licensed bonding contractor. Either way, there's a lot of flexibility. So the goal today is just kind of provide the general framework, and so just cast the vision. And so that's what I was going to do. Lastly, there is grant funding available both for the design and construction of these projects. A couple of specific grant programs that would work here would be a rural and tribal assistance pilot programs, build grants, which is through the U.S. Department of Transportation. There are other few through U.S. Department of Transportation. We're talking about pedestrian mobility projects, and there are also there's some state money that's probably not a lot. So with that, I would like to thank everyone and open the floor to any comments or questions. And I just want to say I've enjoyed this process. I look forward to hearing your feedback, eventually working through these priorities and enhance this downtown.
I'll start comments. I really do like highlighting the Cleveland part. I think that part up there really needs a lot of work. And the gazebo obviously needs a lot of work. And we will have to take it in steps, and we'll work hard for grants and all. I really would like, me personally, for the city beautification to have a firsthand knowledge and their thoughts to come back to us. Not that, Zena, you may be a good one.
Engineering too.
Yeah, engineering, Josh.
I have a question too. What is the red?
That's a fire truck. That's a scale fire truck.
Well, I saw that, but it just
I
sitting.
wanted to show they can make that turn because I've got several medians. Yeah, several of these cross streets are really, really wide. There's a lot more concrete that's really needed.
Yeah,
You can actually break that down.
That's fine. I understand.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. Danny,
One thing, I think a thorn in my side is that cross street between Cotton Row and Sharp Avenue. We've had so many near misses there with people walking across there at night at 50 nights of lights and just any time of the year. And if there's anything that we could do with that too, but I'm with the mayor that north, anything to draw attention to that downtown, because that's the lifeblood of our city, I really feel. That would help, and that gazebo, whatever we can do to get that.
I just got a couple of things. No, I'm like them. I think in that circle, the way it's at Highway 8, a really nice Cleveland sign would be awesome. The other thing that really piqued my interest was the pavilion. You know, we have our farmers market has grown immensely in the last couple. And it would be really nice to have a 3,000 square foot pavilion
big
that,
groups could,
so they could literally do it.
big groups could do that too.
They could do it all year.
Yeah.
And then the only thing, you know, and I don't know how it would work out, but 50 nights of lights is special to us. And I think whatever we decide to do, we got to make sure that we still leave room. Because I mean, now we've got so many curriculums out there. If we take up too much space, then it's going to impair what it looks like.
Yeah. And you hadn't seen that, but it's unbelievable situation there. And, you know, the first thing came to me, the playground. Well, that might be right in the middle of where that would be.
It would.
How close do you want the kids, even though they're in a perimeter there, you know, it may be close street,
Right.
but I really want a lot of these.
And the only other thing I want to say is you're 45 days late. We had budget.
Well, we do have excellent engineers and we have a lot of good minds. And these ladies they kind of know y'all know what we need.
It's needed.
Yeah.
Say anything?
I think it's.
Sounds like a sign here.
It's time.
Do what now?
Sounds like we're gonna get a sign soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Further questions, Cena?
I don't have any really questions, but I like the idea of having the Cleveland sign out there. But I would want the beautification committee to really look and walk this over. I know we have pictures and all that, but a lot of times it's good to just walk it so you would see exactly what the vision is. And then you all come back and let us know what your recommendations are.
I do like that it's not solid because MDOT would probably really squawk about
Yeah.
visibility coming out of that spot.
Right. Well, and
I did look at the site distance there because I know that's MDOT right away.
Yeah.
You can see right where MDOT starts their maintenance.
Yeah.
we got a pretty good connection with MDOT right now.
But again, the site distance, the stop bars ahead of the entire site.
Right.
Good.
I'll get back that way. I did.
With the tulips, I mean, that's short-lived tulips, but that is so eye-catching.
One other small thing that emergency tab I actually look at is how to get people back here to this extra parking.
Yeah, that we bought that we don't use.
Yeah, I did do a wider sidewalk that crosses It's right here, it's sharp, right here.
Dandy,
Added a new
At the end.
sidewalk.
does it get used much back there?
Yeah, they filled in the potholes and everything, tearing all the cars up. But it just popped up, but that's great. And a lot more people use it.
Like on busy time?
Yes, on Fridays and Saturdays.
I think with added lighting and things
Yeah.
like that, additional lighting.
Yeah.
People would feel, and into, I mean, the whole alleyway project is,
Right.
still to be done. there.
It's going to signage on it.
Yeah.
And all,
Yeah.
so it'll be in one term.
Good.
I've done some work on bill grants as well, and this is gonna be enough to get you your foot in the door with a lot of grants.
Good.
That's really what they're looking for. So
Yeah.
Have you spent a little time thinking about planning without getting into the details? Because when it gets to detail, like you said, it'll be McPherson
Yeah,
working on.
that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Great.
we're big on grants. That's how we kind of have the town we got today.
Exist in that grant process.
I can help with that, or what I would like to do is once there's a priority list from commission and board, work that out, is getting specific projects that you want to try to implement and set some kind of priorities, and then work with engineers to,
Consult.
I'll have a piece of it and they'll have.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, well, I get that part, but I mean, if you know if there are grants out there that can assist us in this, if you can point us in the right direction,
Yeah,
that obviously,
jail, and we can get Josh and his crew to.
that obviously improves our chances of doing something.
Field
Right.
grants and the rural travel assistance.
Yeah, the rural travel assistance, it just closed this year, so we'll have to do this from next year, but like I said, I've seen a lot of those submissions. This is probably more than what you need just to get your foot in the door, and sometimes you gotta do it several cycles. Right? Yeah.
We want to try because we want to make this the prettiest place and we can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Good job, bud.
Thank you. Great job. Okay,
Put the tripod.
Moore's not here, so go into public hearing. Danny?
Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna read off the public here, the 21-19-11 list. I'm gonna skip reading anyone that has requested a 30-day extension unless y'all tell me otherwise. Beginning on the list with no progress, 605, 605 and a half, and 607 Ruby Street. Gunn and Verdi M. Hugger. 813 Jackson Street, Jimmy Lee Coleman. 205 Sostis Drive, David H. Birchfield. 111 Dean Street, Andy Barillas. 522 North Bayou Avenue, Jose Moreno Moncada. 521 North Bayou, Jesse Ramirez and Vanessa Burns. 706 Farmer Street, Jordan Rental Properties LLC. 705 Farmer Street, 7Y Investments LLC. 501 South Second Avenue, C&A Investments LLC. 400 Pearl Avenue, Edward Hill and Betty Cox. 710 Alo Avenue, Gary Levon and Adrena Price. 1840 Cowan Drive, Mary Nathaniel, and 1801 Cowan Drive, Andrew Walker. That's the complete list. Unless is there anyone here to appear to those? I see no one and hear no one. It would be in order for someone on the board to make a motion and second to adjudicate.
Carrie, Brian, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay.
You have a second public hearing on here. Basically, you have a resident, Mitzi Garrett, who wants to put a structure, an ancillary structure inside a fence on her property. Since her fence is 5 feet from the line, it requires a variance, even though it's on the inside. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? There being nobody here,
We approve the variance.
Danny, Kurt, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Okay.
that's it for me until you call me again.
Yes, sir. Engineering?
Hey, guys, you all have a copy of my report. The only high points I want to highlight is on North Street. We'll be pouring the last bit of concrete pavement this week. And then we'll begin putting the asphalt pavement back on Andrews and Crispin. And then we are starting our street paving project on South Crispin by the end of this week. And so we'll be paving down there for about a week and a half. And that's all I have. If you have any questions?
Questions of Josh?
I have a question, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Josh, you mentioned on Andrews and North Street, when is that
Yep.
projected time to start with that pavement?
I hope next week. Maybe this week, but definitely should be by the end of next week. We should have that done.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, because I've had several questions about that.
Yes, ma'am.
She asked the question.
Yes, question.
Beat me to it.
Got it.
Okay. All right.
I had the same
Could be
questions
fast.
I've been having.
Okay. Thank you, Josh.
Thank
Danny
y'all.
Griffith.
All right, me again. If you have before you approval of your consent agenda needs a motion, second and approval.
Brian made the motion.
Second.
Ed second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Continuing with me, items 2, 3, and 4 on the attorney agenda are approval of a resolution for hiring our bond counsel, and Brad has been with us on a number of bond projects, approval of a letter of engagement with Brad. And then finally, approval of your fiscal year 2024 bond resolution of intent. Would need motion and second.
Motion to approve. Second.
Gary, Brian, all in favor, say aye.
That's good for all three. Okay. The next thing I have for you, items 5 and 6 are proposed ordinance revisions in your packet. I'd like you to read those, but just because there's a lot of red language in there. Okay. I'm not asking you to pass them tonight, but the first one of these is a resolution that revises your disorderly house ordinance. And what that does, it does two things. It increases the amounts to a fine certain, and the fines are stiff. The other thing that it does is a lot of times, if you have something that reaches the level of a citation under the disorderly house ordinance, it's rental property. Yet some of our rental property is not being properly registered and annually inspected like they're supposed to. So it basically directs the notice also to go to the landowner in the event it's a piece of disorderly rental property. So in 2 weeks, I'll come back and ask y'all to pass that. But if you will look at those changes, especially in red, they're pretty stiff now. Okay. And they're meant to be. We've had a lot of discussion. And then the second of those is again, approval of revisions to the rental registration ordinance. Understand what that is. All of your rental property in town is supposed to be registered every year and inspected every year. What are you going to do if somebody doesn't do that? You need a fine and a penalty in there that gets their attention, and you don't have that right now. So you'll see what Katie and Billy have written into there. It's pretty stiff again. Y'all may want to walk that back, or you may just be happy with it. But in 2 weeks, I'm coming to you to ask you to pass it.
Yeah, so take your time and please read it carefully. Be prepared to discuss it.
And I have no executive session.
Okay, good job. Well, Billy Trotter,
Mayor, I don't have anything unless you have something for me.
questions of Billy? He's a busy man. Okay, Anna, Railroad,
He is not with us.
okay. Dudley,
Y'all have my update. Also, I need the approval of the sale of the weapons that's no longer in service at our department. And the approval of the renovation project, change order number 2.
we have a motion.
So moved.
Danny made the motion.
Can we do both in one or separate?
Let's do that separately.
Okay, all right, the weapons,
Weapons.
Danny made the motion.
Second.
Gary second, all in favor, say aye. Next motion, approval of change order.
Is that not already maybe in the consent agenda?
The change order.
Yeah,
I believe it is.
not, okay, then I make a motion where.
I second.
Gary, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Questions of Dudley?
Yeah, I noticed, the traffic there on, King for passing the bus really have slowed down. I see a big change right there, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I will pass the word on to them.
Okay, Greg?
The only thing I have is, we're going into October, Fire Prevention Week is next week, so I'll be in all the schools. That week has extended to the week before and the week after. So we're doing schools, we're doing Head Starts, and just about everybody that calls, churches, everything. So it's wonderful. We're going to be just trying to turn our attention to fire prevention. That's what we're doing. So
Again, why do we do that in October?
anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire. Sorry.
Okay, questions? Okay. Jamie?
Good evening. Y'all got my monthly report. We did end up taking 94 animals in for the month. A little guinea pig there at the end of so we took in like about 5 different species this past month.
And chickens.
And chickens and ducks and a lot. Hopefully this coming month's gonna slow down. We did have a small truck fire on Friday.
Chicken in my tongue.
Yeah, and those chickens came from the city too. But we did have a small truck fire on Friday. It was our main truck. The Cleveland Fire Department came out, did a great job. We really appreciate that. We're working on the details of that this week. So the ACOs will be in that green truck. So if y'all see that around town, that's why we're in that mainly. We did finally get our cat habitats that were approved last budget year. So we're real proud of those. They're shelter standards compliant. So we're real proud of those. We put up a Facebook post about them. Everyone's welcome to come see them. We're real proud of those. Other than that, we're just trying to get through this month where hopefully the intake starts slowing down.
Okay, questions? Thank you, Jamie. All right, Hunter?
Y'all have my monthly report. I don't have anything unless y'all have questions.
Questions of Hunter?
Wasn't anything in there, right?
Get it.
Wasn't anything in there.
It's in there.
Wastewater.
Thank you.
I do have one thing I want to ask, on Lincoln, at the 1100 block of Lincoln. Gentleman said he had that bad smell. I think Steve, and you may have talked about it. And did you have a chance to talk to him again over there? Exactly what is coming?
No, sir. We hadn't really figured it out yet, but we're gonna go back over there tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve-O.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have anything outside my report unless you have something for me.
Steve, I would ask too, I don't know if it's a problem right there. Have you guys look at that timer on that traffic light right there at North Street and 61?
Yes, sir.
It's a little bit, longer than normal.
Yes, sir, will do.
All righty.
Thanks for the work on the parking lot behind the stores. Appreciate all that.
No problem, Mr.
Thank
Daniel.
you.
Okay. Clint?
Clint is not with us. The only thing that he has is requesting approval to submit the 2024 FAA Terminal Grant Program application.
Burke made a motion. Gary second. All in favor, say aye. Okay.
He's not on here, but I don't know if you know, is there any way that we can file some sort of appeal on that AWAS system that we were denied?
I don't think so. The only thing he said about that was that since it was denied by FAA, if we pay for it, which is I think what we're going to have to do, then if something happens to it, because we pay to replace it, if something happens to it, then we would qualify for it to be replaced under FAA right in the future. Because if it is purchased under the grant, it has to be so many years old before it'll qualify again. But if we purchase it, then because we pay for it, if something happens to it, then you can qualify automatically. It doesn't fall under the age guidelines. So that was the only benefit to us paying for it on the front end.
Okay. Jason?
I don't have anything outside of my report. I just need to get the approval for the lowest and best bid for the grass spraying for the year 2023, 2024.
Robert made the motion. Yeah, second. All in favor, say aye. Just quickly, Jason, how many days and nights a week are the gym being used? And we got so much going on, it's unbelievable.
Right now, we have a pickleball club with about 30 members. They're actually playing over there tonight. So they play on Mondays and Thursdays from 5 to 8, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11, Sunday from 2 to 4, and Friday is free play for anybody that wants to play from 6 to 8. And then we have open gym on Tuesday nights for people to come in and shoot basketball. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 7 nights we have people in the gym.
Yeah, you need to take off Sunday night. But thank you, Paul. I mean, the tournament that Bio had here a week or so ago is There's so many good things coming out of your office that we certainly appreciate.
Yeah, we had a big time out there. We had 16 teams here on Saturday, 8 teams here on Monday to finish it up. I think we had somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 people out there.
Right.
Said this morning they've got a tennis league. Is this the first year we've had this league?
Well, this is a USTA tennis apprentice program. Dady Hardy is running that. Pretty much it's a class for adults. It's going to be every Tuesday. It starts September the 5th and it'll run through October 17th. And because of this program, I applied for a grant for about, I think it's $2,000 grant that hopefully I should get, and I'll know about that here the next week or so.
Okay. Michelle?
Okay, so I have a couple of things. You'll see in Dropbox, I have the memo to request exemption for named vendors from the purchase order process. This is something we do as a result of our actual 2022 audit. We do every year.
You need a motion for
I
that?
do.
Make a motion.
Carrie made the motion.
Second.
Robert second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the only other thing I have is, Danny, actually brought it up in our department head meeting this morning. Since our state of emergency is ongoing, we need to spread it across our minutes probably on a monthly basis. So I'm going to give an update on where we stand right now and ask for, approval to continue our state of emergency. So we have had, an assessment of all of our property at this point from Stellar, which is the contractor that we have contracted with. The Travelers has moved our claim to a the major claims division. We did have an adjuster come look at several buildings and determined that it was not something that one adjuster could handle. So the major claims division will be here, I believe, this week with a team of adjusters so that they can move more swiftly through our properties since it's such a large volume of property that has been damaged. So
And Stellar's going to be with them every step.
that's right. Stellar will
Josh is
be,
gonna be with them as well.
that's right.
And that's Travelers Insurance.
Travelers is our carrier, and Travelers is our insurance company.
Carry
On the insurance.
me too. I just wanted to see what I need to look at in a minute, fine print. I need to,
Gotcha.
I think.
Danny.
Was the AWAS system not on insurance? It was hit by lightning.
AWAS,
You said it was denied by the
FAA,
FAA, but what about, it was hit by lightning? Did we not turn it into insurance or it's not insured?
that I don't know. I think Clint handled all, I don't know that it was confirmed that it was hit by lightning. I'm not sure about.
Can we approach it from that angle?
I can talk to Clint about that.
Exactly.
Talk to Clint about that.
Explanation.
Yeah.
Well, I just wait till Clinton next meeting and ask him, and I'll tell him.
Thank you.
We'll meet next Tuesday.
Thank you.
There is an explanation, but due to old age, I can't remember.
It happens. I know it's Kurt going.
I'm saying that.
I
That's my
think
confession.
there was-
Criteria somehow.
That's my.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sticking to it.
we need to,
It need
been updated. We need a motion.
So move.
Ted.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, Heather?
Good evening, everyone. You'll see my report, and also I have employee action recommendations needing approval.
What's gonna make the motion?
Okay,
Second.
Robert made the motion, Gary second, all in favor, say aye. Okay, Robert,
I don't have anything there.
I'm good to go, Mr. Mayor.
what's going on here? Yeah. Yeah,
I didn't know who to ask this question to, but we got 16 lights out on the Watson Trail.
welcome,
I did tell me that.
The
I don't know if Steve.
nice lights, you know.
Steve will be here.
don't know if
I didn't know if it was Steve-O or
The ones that stand, or
the expensive light,
ornate, real.
Sternberg or whatever you call them.
They've been ordered.
Okay.
Yes.
16.
They've been ordered. Okay,
I'm gonna let Steve-O answer but he has requested a quote. And as far as I know, they've been ordered. Steve, did you give?
I checked with Brandy this morning. I'll check with her first thing in the morning to make sure we got that PO back. Yeah, me and Robert actually went down there, and it's one here and it's one there, and they're just so often we didn't really notice it. And then we started getting 2 or 3 out, and then we noticed it, and then we went and checked all of them. And the LED parts burning out in them. And I got Mr. Roger at Robson working on it, and we're trying to chase it down and see exactly what's doing it and what's causing it. So
That's
working
pretty
on it.
quick.
And they ordered 4 additional light kits
Right.
so that we would have some backup in case we have
You
any
need it
others
coming up for sure, because
That's
people
right.
been walking.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that was why they moved on it so quickly.
Okay.
To
Well, I
make sure
noted, I needed some out, but I know I started counting them this morning.
16.
I was, and you're exactly right. That is the exact number that's out.
Okay, so you can't do it. That's what your job is.
I took a calculator with me.
Okay. So I thought you could count 16. Brian?
I'm good, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Y'all, the American Queen visitors all speak so highly of Cleveland. It's amazing. They're shopping downtown, they're eating downtown.
Good.
It's a wonderful deal.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, if y'all should sit in one of our departments and they go into pretty good detail of what all's going on. And that's one reason our meetings can go and get over, because we got folks that got our back. And they're doing it because they care about Cleveland. That means the world. Okay.
Ready to go in executive session.
I don't have one. They don't have any.
I move we adjourn.